Sitting on the park bench, eyeing little girls with bad intensity. Hey, Aqualung, drying in the cold sun, watching as the pretty Peggy.
Twice now, Dr. Wily's evil plans of world domination have been foiled by Mega Man. Instead of going to prison, Wily has managed to convince everyone that he's a changed man and will atone for his evil doings. Somehow he's let off the hook, and Dr. Light trusts him enough to take him back as his assistant to building a peacekeeping robot called Gamma. What this robot does to keep peace is never mentioned. I guess peacekeeping robot is a euphemism for robotic nuclear missile launcher. Nah, I've been playing too much Metal Gear lately, I guess. Anyway, the 8 new robots they designed together go berserk and steal 8 power crystals. So Mega Man is sent out to stop the robots and retrieve the crystals. The format is the same as Mega Man 2. You start out with a select screen to choose the order of the first 8 stages, each guarded by a robot master, and each one you defeat will award you with their weapon. There are no difficulty adjustments this time around, but the difficulty is pretty balanced, and the password system returns for continuing. Replacing the 3 lift items from the second game is Rush, Mega Man's loyal companion robotic dog that morphs into 3 different power-up forms to help Mega Man out. The only one you start off with is Rush Coil, where Rush acts as a springboard to get to areas that you can't reach by normally jumping. The other 2 you'll get after defeating specific robot masters. There's Rush Marine to get you through water areas faster, and Rush Jet for flying purposes. Another new feature is the ability to slide, which will not only speed up your travel, but will also get you through narrow areas you can't run under. This time around you'll be able to collect up to 9 energy tanks at a time instead of just 4, making it a little easier to keep your health up if you can grab that many tanks. There's also these question mark blocks which after blasting it will reveal a randomized item. It's never the same. And no Mega Man game would be complete without the signature large robotic guardians. These guys aren't that hard, they jump, stop, and continue jumping. They'll only take hits if its eyes are open during its jump, but it doesn't take too many hits. Mega Man 2's soundtrack was just legendary, so Mega Man 3 has a pretty tall order in following it up. Although it's understandably not quite as awesome as its predecessor, Mega Man 3's music selection definitely has some gems, and overall it's a very solid soundtrack. Gameplay-wise, not much has changed. The control is just as tight as it always was, graphics are just as good, the formula hasn't changed really, just a decent number of features added. Despite the fact that there's a pretty in-depth story, there's no intro in the game, you just start right out at the game start screen. Which is kinda strange because Mega Man 2's story was much simpler and they did include an intro. But anyway, you get to the stage select screen and just like in Mega Man 2, there's no definitive order, so I'm just gonna show you the order I've always used. First select Magnet Man. The first part is real easy, all you have to do is be sure not to jump over any pits while the magnets are overhead. Then you'll run into this mini boss battle with the mysterious robot who initially goes by the name of Breakman. You'll find him in several stages and he'll play an important role later on, but we'll get into that later. He'll run this predictable pattern, sliding under him and shooting from behind is the basic strategy. After several shots, he'll teleport away and a hole will break open in the ground for you to advance. There are these rotating magnets that'll pull you toward them, but as long as you keep your distance, you'll be able to kill the walking eyeballs without a problem. Later on, you'll find the signature disappearing blocks. The patterns aren't too complicated, even with the suction magnet. Since they are short-term trips, you can stay on the ground and study the pattern before moving. Even the wide open area isn't too hard, it's just 4 blocks that follow a linear pattern. Just watch out for the magnet pulling you back. Magnet Man himself has 2 attack patterns. He'll make 2 jumps and then magnetize to the ceiling and fire off 3 magnet missiles, or stop and pull you in his direction with his magnetic pull. When he hits the ceiling, slide against the wall and his missiles will miss you, unless you get against the wall too early. When he tries to pull you towards him, your attacks are useless against him, so run away. Attack when he's jumping from side to side. Your arm cannon will take quite a bit of energy from him. After winning, you'll acquire the magnet missile. It's pretty powerful and can magnetize to an enemy you can't reach, but it's not always accurate and it consumes quite a bit of weapon energy. Hardman is next, and why they decided to give him such a suggestive name is beyond me. Toward the beginning, this giant bee will drop a swarm of 5 small bees to attack you. Keep your distance until it hits the ground and shoot him. These green platforms will summon these large steel bear traps that'll chomp you if you don't slide or jump across them. They're not too hard here, but there'll be a longer stretch of them later. This variation of Sniper Joe throws hammers and he's invincible until the visor portion of his helmet turns black. This is always right before he releases the hammer too, so time your shot right, retreat, and continue. When you get to the split, take the top half, grab the E-tank, and if you need some energy, go back and slide under to grab these small power-ups. Up this ladder, you'll run into the long stretch of bear traps, plus a queen bee parachuting its children down. It can lead to quite a few hits, but a little trick is to keep jumping, and as soon as you see the bee, jump backwards till it goes off screen and it'll disappear when you come back. Then you'll fight Breakman again. It's the same routine as in Magnet Man stage, except this time the bumpy terrain doesn't really help you out. Then you'll get to Hardman. The hard knuckle he fires does decent damage, but when he takes to the air above you and drops down is where he's most effective. He'll fire 2 hard knuckles at a time, they'll head straight for you, and then chase you again backwards, and while this is happening he'll do his dive attack. So you've got to jump over the knuckles while, more importantly, keep away from Hardman himself. Use your magnet missiles, but don't fire too many at once or you'll run out. Take a couple shots while he's in midair or when he's in the middle of firing. The magnets will chase him, and then you'll take him out. The hard knuckle weapon is very powerful and can be guided, but it's slow as all hell, so don't use it against faster enemies. Top Man is next, and holy shit, look at all the marijuana he's growing. This guy is either rolling in dough or he just smokes it all. I mean, this is a fortress of weed. So early on, you'll run into Top Man's cousin. Don't let yourself drop off this ladder. It's much easier to shoot him while hanging off it than to jump over all the tops. When you get to these hard hat bulldozers, take the rush coil up and get these power-ups. You'll run into a couple of these cats on the way that fire off these, I don't know, projectiles that bounce around. Try to keep away from them while attacking. If you take too long, it'll unleash its fleas at you. When leaping across these floating tops, wait until you're at the edge before jumping over the next one or you won't reach. Top Man will summon 3 tops into the air which will all cascade down onto you at once. Get to the far corner and jump over them. Top Man will change positions by spinning around on his roller skates or whatever the hell he's doing and lunge towards you. You can't hit him while he's spinning, so fire your hard knuckle as he's summoning the tops, jump over his attacks, and then jump over him, and he'll keep repeating the same attacks. After taking him out, you'll get the top spin, which is pretty much the worst special weapon in Mega Man history. Rather than firing off top projectiles like Top Man did, you end up inheriting this lame-ass spin move. Its range is god-awful and you can waste it all away in one use. What a load of bullshit. Despite its shittiness, it is effective in a few specific areas, including the next Robot Master, Shadow Man. Early on, you'll have another run-in with Breakman. You'll get a flat surface to battle with him again, so no worries. You'll hit a stretch where these domed devices from overhead will appear and cause all the lights to go out. When this happens, you'll see the enemies in front of you, but not the platforms. There are no pits in this area, but you might run into a wall or something. The most dangerous enemy on this stretch are these suicidal grenades that'll detonate when they're near you or if you shoot them. So try not to hit them when they're near you. If you have a hard time navigating through the dark, hit the dome bastard with the magnet missile to turn the lights back on. The second half of the stage is almost entirely made up of these small platforms with these unidentifiable heads that parachute down. You could try to jump and fire off the same platform, but if you want to be safe, jump and then come back, letting the poor sucker drift down without coming close to you. Soon after this is Shadow Man, who's a pretty tough motherfucker if you're only using the arm cannon. He's the only Robot Master ever that slides. He throws 2 Shadow Blades at a time and he's pretty damn fast. But he's a ninja, so of course he's gonna be all over the place. Now, his weakness is the friggin' top spin, of all things. Get near him and spin your ass around. But the unpredictableness of how much weapon energy decreases from the top spin may cause you to waste it all away and you might not be able to get all that much health out of Shadow Man. I find it helps if you tap the button more than hold it, but the pressure sensitivity doesn't seem to guarantee you anything. After winning, you'll get the Shadow Blade, which is kinda like the Metal Blades from Mega Man 2, only not nearly as awesome. You can't fire down with it, and it doesn't travel as far, but it does boomerang back towards you, and it doesn't drain that much weapon energy at all. You'll also get the Rush Marine adapter.